Okay, I can just about see what I'm doing. How are we doing? Help. What do you mean help? How are we doing today? How are we doing? We have a lot of IDs, and I unfortunately, specifically today, don't have a ton of time, so we gotta see if we can bang this out in like an hour and 15. But we do have quite a few tracks, so I'm not gonna waste too much time talking. Shh. Oh, I forgot to do the chat. 1 second. I can do that while we start though. Oh yeah, I forgot this was happening. I was gonna do a remix for this, and I started, but it was kind of ass, so I didn't finish. All right, let's go. Rexo starting us off. Yo, what's up, Martin? Friday. Fork man. Alright, dude. Quite like a future bouncy type of synth. Why so many white noise? Yeah, that's a good question. Said hello, and iPad changed it to help. Let's go. Oh, okay, switch up. Sounds too complex, Joe? A little bit, yeah. Okay. I see the vision of what you're going for here. I'm gonna start it with a really meta piece of feedback, like a sort of big picture, which is like the sound that you're going for with this bass house sounds like if Retrovision or Madzy remixed another song, which to me doesn't really make sense. If you're remixing one of their songs, that you would use something that sounds very similar to their sound to remix their track. You know, you kind of want to do something that's like feels like your own thing. So in this case, I would say like it's kind of cool, but like all the sounds in here, I feel like I've heard from those guys before, and even Jonghyun, like this like very future bouncy type of thing. It's something I've heard from them, but it's, you know, on the more like ignoring that part. I think the bass house part is fine. Like this is good. It's quite noisy, but I see the vision you're going for here. I would say take a little bit of that noise away and focus more on the tonal elements. Make sure you're actually keeping the resonances of the sound in there. so that it still has like the bite from the white noise and that like nice little bit of crunchiness, but you want it to be like salt, you know. If you're adding too much white noise, it completely loses its value and you just kind of end up making everything too noisy and too salty. So a little less noise. I think the melodic part, the lead, is kind of underwhelming. And here also the chords feel quite noisy. So I'd say if you remove some of the noise from the chords and add, probably you need like 2 to 3 layers in the lead that are significantly different from what you already have, and you'll have like a good basis. I think probably also some more mids in the mix overall will help a bit in this melodic part. And that can be in contrast to the bass house part. The bass house part's tonal balance is good. It's just the melodic part which needs more mids. It can feel a little muddy when you compare it, but it will be more emotional. And then the other thing is just like here, this needs more work. You can't just leave it like this. But I'm assuming you just haven't gotten to it. But I would say fill this out and probably try using less of the stems. And, you know, use a few, but do try and like add a lot of your own stuff in here. Even if it's like taking the stems that you do have and like reorganizing them, chopping them up, doing something different with them. For mine, I tried changing the chord progression a little bit. Might Hit Harder was a bit simpler, but I love it. Sub, oh yeah. What's going on with the sub? The sub is not amazing, but it's okay. It's just noticeably bassier here, which kind of doesn't make sense for the bass house part to have less bass. Like I said, we got to rip through these, so I'm going to cut my feedback here. All the cars are recorded except the intro ARP is Contact. I love Contact stuff. I used to be such a Contact hater, and then I found the Contact plugins that I liked, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't think well, maybe I wasn't a hater, but I was just like not a fan. Alright, we're about to go on a magical adventure with Arnosh, I can just tell. Nice chord progression already. Oh, what? This bass is so nice. Whoa. Splice guitar gang, guys. Man, this bass line is so like, it's so seductive. It's just like, but in like a wholesome way. Mix is rough. Yeah, the mix is rough. Anime baseline, definitely. That's the word I was missing. Whoa. Whoa. You're definitely shredding with that. Wholesome seduction new song. We're inventing genres here. Oh boy. How am I gonna get through all of these? I have no idea. I don't think I can do any seconds today, guys. Okay. So, I got a few things. Most of them are really mix related. Because I think the idea is good. I'm not sure I get the, like, metal type of drum patterns and, like, stuff. With the whole, like, we are going on a journey, you know, in our yellow submarine or whatever you want to call this, like, very, like, open, cute, like, vibe. But that's fine. I think mix-wise, funnily enough, this ARP just has too many highs, and then we get here and everything is like quite cluttered. So I'd say the guitars sound soothed, and probably that's from just like masking and the way they're distorted. So I'm not sure what's going on in the processing here that's making them sound so flat. I would check to make sure that if you are distorting them, that they aren't just getting like compressed into a tube. You want to keep some of the dynamics there, while still getting the distorted sound. I think the shredding lead is kind of... It's nice, but it's like, it's so fuzzy that it's losing its definition. Like, even this, you're not really getting each of the notes. It's kind of like this blend of, like, legato moving up and down. So I would work with the lead a little bit and give it a little bit more of a defined attack, and maybe take out some of that fuzz and have it be a little more purely resonant, so that you can actually feel the notes. Don't, like, get rid of it. Don't, like, make it not fuzzy at all, but just... either, like, add a layer to it that is more, like, purely resonant and direct, or just remove some of the fuzz from this lead and just reshape it a little bit. The other thing is the drums sound really papery, tonal-wise. Like, there's not a whole lot of bass from the kick. Like, you can hear that it's there, but it's not really... And I mean, okay, to be fair, for the style, it's not supposed to be, like, EDM kick type of bass, but it just feels like they're all kind of landing a bit flat. Like, even the snare is, like, not loud enough, maybe? I don't know. It just feels like none of it's quite landing for me. Did you get my sub, by the way? I sent it right before the stream started. Yeah, I did. I did get it. I noticed it especially here, by the way. These drums don't sound like they're in the mix. They sound really far away. And that may just be how they were recorded. Or just how they're mixed in. Not really sure, but I would definitely take a look at the drums and see if you can just make them more upfront and central in the mix. Especially for kick and snare. Because the hats and whatever. You can have those panned if you want. Like, they can be wide. All I need... Okay. I'm really sorry. I don't think I'm going to get to it. If I do have time at the end, I will try, but... I made this really quick. Like, in 4 hours, you can tell drops don't really have much time worked. It's just a try, but I will change the drops. I think I'll do melodub instead. Okay, I'll take more of a listen to the breaks then. I'm gonna skip through this though.
Took so long for me to find. I just need a reminder before you go. It's when our hearts get separated. Crash and burn is all I ever know. I can't try to replace this feeling. I close my eyes and it's you that I'm seeing. One more thing before you go. One more thing before you go. One more thing before you go.
I like the vibes of this.
One more thing before you go.
Oh! What? This is so good! What? Whoa. Well, that's not what I was expecting. Yeah, okay, that's a little goofy, but... Man, this is so nice, though. Man, I really like this. I think I can hear that your like ability to put together ideas is like improving a lot, because you always had like this sort of very like a nice inspiration of like these big progressive-y feeling tracks, and with the this like melodub or like melodic style. But this is probably the nicest like single composition that you've sent me. This is really cool. I would say probably the drums here can be a little softer. The other thing is like the tonal atmospheres. I understand you didn't work on this. I think this is just like the next step to make this feel more, because I think the vibes of this are already good. You already have like the basis for it. I would say the atmosphere here, like this thing here, needs more movement. So that's either in the sound, whatever's making that sound, or if it's a sample, just adding extra processing that's like distortions that are automated or moving around, extra bits of like noise layered also before distortions or before compressors, little bits of bit crushing maybe, like small details that will help take the sound from being like good to sounding really deep. That way you don't have to keep stacking extra elements in there, and you get much more out of the single element that you already have. That's really the key to like effective breaks, I think. It's effective music in general. It's not just like we've all heard the like, oh, less is more, but it's about getting more out of less. You know, you want to get as much as you can out of the elements that you already have before you start trying to add new elements. And sometimes you say, hey, this element is perfect as it is, and doing more with it makes it something else, and that you don't want to do. But in this case, like adding more texture and like vibes to this, especially for something in the background, you really have a lot of license to just go ham and give it like tons of small details that you might not hear, but you will feel. With that being said, the other thing is the like pluck chords here. These, I feel like they could be more powerful. We could have more mids in there. And then like this sub drop, it'd be nice to have like a reverse sub, like a create more anticipation. Yeah, overall it just needs like more development, but I really like this drop, and this whole building up to it is super nice. The lead as well is just, it's so nice. This gap here as well could probably be filled with something. This, like, I would say do something similar to this like lead that you have before, but something slightly different would be nice. And then take that same like either melody fragment or the same lead with a different thing here. Like if you had a vocal chop or something there, or just like a piece of the vocal just like plopped in there, it would sound super cool. And then you could even take the melody of the vocal and layer a synth underneath it, like layer a lead underneath whatever the guy's saying in the vocal. Could be cool. Okay, next up, overall super cool. Not super hot on this drop, but I see where you're going with it, and it's chill. Hyperluminescence. All right, let's go. Lyrics: da 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 da, and I don't want da 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 da. Hey 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 da. Kendrick ain't got nothing on this shit. Break and transition to the second part of the drop still needs to be worked on. He's trying to get in front of my transition feedback. Shit. Good old future bass, yes sir. Iconic. Sorry, I'm just writing this down so I don't forget. Okay. I would say for me, the only thing I don't really like about this is like it's really the melody. The melody just feels like all over the place. Like I can't get a feel of like any of what's going on. Like the rhythm, both the rhythm and like, I think for me it's mostly the pitch that like doesn't really have any clear patterns in it that I can get hooked onto. So I think the first thing you could do is just like take out some of the notes and see how it feels once you have less notes, and let the other, you know, like you have this also this vocal bit layered under there. See if you can give that some more room. But what you could do is take your favorite parts of the melody, keep those. And then the parts that you feel like, yeah, you kind of feel like it's less good or it's less feel-y. Try swapping that out for like a sample of some kind, just like a melodic sample. And see if that helps you like break out of this melody and maybe into something a little more question and answer or like A-B styled. I think it'll also just help to have like a new thing to counter the melody so it stays like sweet and bright. Because if you play the same sound too much, it's kind of reminds me of High Tide by Grant. Damn, that's a big compliment. Because otherwise I like the rest of the production. kind of very satisfying type of like chord design as well. I really like what you've been doing with your chord sounds lately. Just sounds really rich, and this would like for sure go in like my brain sugar playlist, which is where I put all like the color bass, future house, super melodic-y type of stuff. But that's really it. Yeah, you're welcome to try using samples from my free Patreon if you feel like, you know, or whatever it is that inspires you. Words that should be added to the dictionary. Kyokanan, bro. What does this mean? What does this mean, brother? Wild. Binary language ID. All right, let's go, Dirty Octopus. Ooh. Ooh. Yo, he's cooking with this one. I actually really like this. This is such a cool vibe. It's like it has this like neurofunky influence, and then the vocal gives it this like electro swing feel. The thing is, it sounds like a cat, which is kind of funny, but it works. I really like this. This works for me. This really works for me. Curious what chat's gonna think. I mean, realistically here, I just want to feel the drums a bit more. And mostly I want to feel like the transience of the drums, because they feel a little bit like... Maybe I wouldn't like it if it was... But you have these things that are occupying a lot of this like 5K and above region. It's quite bright there, and I want to feel the transience of the drums there as well. So that may either mean just like going to the drums and doing like some extra EQ there to just like boost the top end. Make sure you're using like linear phase for that, so you don't like mess up the phase of your drums. I think it's also that the clap for me is not bright enough as well. Or it's like, it's nice and subtle, but I do want to feel it more. I want to feel that downbeat and really let the groove carry the majority of the weight, because you have these nice sort of hypnotic, rhythmically repetitive, but in a very satisfying way, type of melodic. So like let the drums really take a lot of the presence. I'm gonna be so for real, I have no idea what phase is. That's okay. Bass is so crunchy. Yeah, the bass is crunchy. So good. Yeah, it's for me really just like make sure the drums are like really hitting and feeling crisp, and everything else is gonna work perfectly. Dude, not knowing what phases is totally acceptable. Like phases are rough. It's just rough. It's difficult. Basketball can never be this. What is this? That's an insect. There's no way you're gonna tell me that somebody's photoshopped a person this tiny. Alright, I'm trying to improve on making emotional tracks, and this is definitely an improvement. We'll see about that. Still a work in progress and needs some work, so any suggestions would be great. Sounds good. Also, for like my non-native English people, sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm just in a rush, so I'll try and be like speaking clearly. Phase doesn't exist. At least that's what I tell myself. Whenever there's something you don't want to learn, just gaslight yourself. Works every time. Nice. interesting. It's kind of like a fusion of like your harder DMB sound with like melodic stuff, which is I see the vision here. I feel like you still got, I think, ways to go before you find like that threshold where it just like clicks and it becomes a completely new sound, because it still feels like just an extension of what the type of sound design you were doing before. But definitely keep going. I would say like there's a lot of lower mids here that feel less harmonic. There's also like a lot of sub, and I wonder if that's just like my imagination. Wait, I want to listen to just sub here. It's like quite wide in the sub, which sometimes can sound cool, especially for like more clubby, a melodic type of stuff. But especially for melodic things, I personally like to keep my sub really tight, mono-wise, because you just need all of the space in the stereo for your main melodic elements. But maybe I'm also just imagining it, I'm not sure. I need also more counter melody, stuff like this. More like little bits of extra melodic, like ear candy or like cutting in, because you have a nice main sound, but the main sound on its own is not that melodic itself. Or at least it's just leaving a lot of opportunity open for taking other sounds to harmonize with that main sound. So if you can get like more things in here that are going to harmonize, you know, you have loads of room for like tiny ear candies, little vocal shouts, different types of little leads that like layer in here, and will layer perfectly even just on notes that are already in the chord. But just having that same note on a different sound with a different timbre will give you a nice sound, really nice sound. Or it can also be like, you know, extensions of the chord that will also sound really, really cool. Holy wide bass. My problem is I understand bass but don't understand how to change anything to fix phase issues. Yeah, phase is really complicated. Yo, what's up, Doctor? It's been a minute. Reminds me of that one song by Solomon Franz. Loki liked this better. Would love it simpler, but that's just me. Yeah, I mean, I see where it's going here. I think for me personally, I would have like more complexity in the sound design, like in the layering of extra sounds. But yeah, maybe the pattern, the main pattern itself, can be a little simpler, so that you have a nice foundation with yeah, more stuff layering in. Yeah, bro, I didn't realize you moved channels. My bad. Fair enough. I could have announced it more. I really gotta remember to announce these also on my Instagram. I have to remember to use my Instagram in the first place, but you know, I'll get there. Just not today. Alright, ISCO final, Late Eyes. Let's go. Okay, starting off big. I don't even have Insta for you, good. Nice. Nice. Okay. Damn. Yeah, there's definitely reverb on that sub. I'm gonna talk about it, don't worry. Maybe there isn't, I don't know. There's a snake in my boot. Fuck it, reverb on the mix bus. Yeah. Is that distortion after the reverb? Bom, 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 bom. And that Jersey part though would go crazy. It's like almost a Jersey beat, but not quite. Okay. Well. That was not what I was expecting, Mr. Late Eyes. Or Mrs. Late Eyes. Well. Okay. I would say, I'm going to start off with just the vocal. The vocal comes in and it feels, mix-wise, kind of obnoxious. It's just really loud. So I would say maybe take that down by like 2 or 3 dB. The reverb is fine on this. The reverb here, though, on the drop is like really... You can't not talk about it, because it's like... I see it as like conceptually, I like the idea of like being like, what if we just slapped reverb on everything? And everything sounds really wet overall. And it may not even be that everything is wet. There's just a lot of like wetness flying around everywhere. There's just a lot of really long reverbs in here. The issue I have with it is, one, it just feels like it's hard to feel the dry elements as dry because there's just so much reverb anywhere. So everything feels really loose and messy, including the sub. Like the fact that Discontent is also asking, like, is there reverb on the sub? Even if there isn't, the impression that there is means that something has probably gone a bit awry with how the reverbs are being managed. Bro made a humdee beat and then put reverb on the master. Jersey Break would be fire. I agree. Jersey beat would go hard on this. I think also a gated reverb here. That being that like the reverb is gated while the dry signal is playing and then comes in after. So we get the dry clap, or at least some of the dry clap. It doesn't have to be like completely like gated, but like ducking that reverb a little bit would help, I think, because as it stands right now, the clap is just it's causing a huge amount of reverb. The other thing I want to point out is I think something that might help is unifying the reverb lengths, because I think you have a lot of reverbs in here that are different lengths and might have different levels of like different lengths of pre-delay as well. I'm not sure. If that's not the case, then you know, you can ignore this. But if you have, you know, one reverb that's like a second long, and then one that's 1.5, and one that's 3 seconds long, and one that's 7 seconds long, what happens is our brains are actually used to hearing reverb. We hear reverb in, like, if you go into a big hall, you notice it in particular. But every room has reverb because every time you speak, your voice is going out and it's hitting a wall and it's coming back to you. And we pretty intuitively pick up when the reverb isn't realistic. And by realistic, I mean the reverb isn't consistent. When it sounds like there's like 17 different elements that have been recorded in 17 different rooms, they don't sound like they belong together reverb wise, because they don't, because they're technically in different sized rooms. So one thing that can help is just picking, a few reverb lengths and keeping all of the reverbs with the same length of, or like most of the reverbs with the same length of delay and pre-delay. So like, if I would say also for a whole project, even if you have a short delay that's like 200 milliseconds, yeah, like a half a second or whatever, or like 0.2 seconds. If you're going to have a pre-delay on your long reverbs, also keep it on all your short reverbs, even if it's a second long reverb. If you're using 5 seconds pre-delay or 10 seconds or 20 seconds, keep it consistent for everything, because it will help glue the whole mix together. Sorry, I'm definitely ranting a little bit, but it's a complex topic. Physics class up in this bit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a speedrun feedback. Goes on to explain how reverb works. I can't explain it without explaining it, I can't resist. Oh my god, yeah, I'm actually taking up so much time. Oops. Whatever. Okay, that was it. So yeah, if you can tighten up the reverb lengths, that might help, and also maybe a little less reverb overall. That being said, if you're like, hey, no, this is the idea of a song, I just want reverb floating everywhere, and it's going to be really messy and cool, then it's working. Okay, next. Waka's new album? Oh, damn. This artwork looks cool. This release could be in June. Let's go. Ooh. I heard that.
Hello?
Okay, Skrillex. I mean, I'm excited for this. This is gonna be super sick. If you have tracks off the album that you wanna sub for feedback, so we could get a preview, you could do that. You could do that. I don't know why I've never thought of reverb like that. It's kind of cool. What the flip is going on? Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like an album intro. Yep, yeah, it does. Might be an album intro. This is cool, though. I like this style. No feedback. It's cool. I enjoy it. Looking forward to the album. Evan Scott, Crash Landing 2. Did we hear Crash Landing 1? I don't remember. Or is this version 2 of Crash Landing? Version 1 of Crash Landing 2. Bet. Oh, is this gonna be like drum and bass? Ooh. Oh, I remember the first one now, yeah. Nice. Oh, that thing is so cool. Man, that's such like a lovely, like melodic bass, like a foundation. Giga mega super based. Discontent, you're right on the money, by the way, with this being old Monster Cat vibes. My guess is probably in like, especially in like the next 2 years, this style will come back. So this is a good time, especially if you're good at it. I think that stuff will come back, as most things do. Wish there were some more pitch jumps with that lead bass type thingy. Okay, well, I mean, I don't even got to do my job. Martin's doing it for me. He makes a good point. I wouldn't have even thought of that. Yeah, more pitch jumps would be cool. For me, my main things are like more detail things, because I think the basis of this track is already excellent, and I think in the mix maybe there's like during the drop your like chords and stuff are a little washed out. Like here it's kind of feels like things are masking a bit, so it's kind of, you have a little less contrast than would be ideal between the foreground and the background, which kind of is typical of this sounding track. Like stuff from this era was not, in my opinion, mixed in that like more modern and like really nice high contrast way. So if this is the sound that you like mix wise, keep it that way. But what you could do is bring the basses a little more forward and take the chords a little more to the sides and out, make them more distinctly like stereo and spatial, and leave the middle for the basses. And they could come in the form of just like doing more mid-side EQ for your chords. I think also here, this specific bass around here, like this specifically I like noted is like this bass I wish was a little more frontal and like in your face, because it feels a little too spaced out. Yeah, so I think part of that is also like the way it's processed. So you could definitely tighten it up maybe a little bit, and also like just shape it around until it sounds like it's in the front, like the other basses. Like this one sounds in front and in your face. The transition here could use a sub drop, I think. Because you have the kick, but it would be nice to have a sub drop like the one I put out last week in my Patreon. Like this. Or if you want like that pure thing that's in there from week 19. Because, you know, like... That's, I'm just like flopping that on there from FL, so like sounds kind of shitty, but I think you get the idea. To smooth that over, the piano also just could be louder in the build up here, because it kind of just disappears under everything, and it's carrying the emotional thread of this build. And it just kind of like fades into the background, or like gets shoved back realistically by the other elements. So just making sure that it's bright enough for what's going on here. And that might mean taking the elements that are in the build and just making them a little softer volume-wise, so that the piano can feel a bit bigger. Okay, this is super awesome, dude. So I always love hearing your stuff, man. So cool. Multiverse Vista's Peak. Song to submit for Honkai Star Rail contest thingy gacha game. Oh yeah. Unmix this. I just want to speedrun the idea to meet the deadline end of May. Vocal coming soon. Bet. Let's go. I see the idea here. Yeah, with the vocal, this would be super cool. Yeah, you have so much nice room for a vocal here. That's super cool. I love this. It's giving me like your twist on like an Ellis song, if that makes sense, or like an Ellis like disco-y style of thing. I like this a lot. This is all super good. I think it's also for like mainly from that bass. The bass is so Ellis-y. I would say this thing could be more textural. And maybe with a longer like release or reverb on it, so it gives a little more atmosphere, but like a little bit of like extra distortion. And when I say extra, I mean like somewhere between 30 and 70% distortion of your choice, 2 or 3 times, with each time on like 10 or 15 or 20% mix, just so you get the texture of it without completely overwhelming the sound as it is now, just to give it like a little bit of extra movement. Yeah, or like distorting on a chorus could be cool. Also here, this like chord atmosphere stuff could also be a little more textural. Like you could layer in extra little bits of layering and maybe some more Foleys for that like cinematic vibe. The lead here is a little too for me. And the string also, I think, needs an extra layer to make it a bit beefier. Because it I don't know, it sounds a bit like tinny. And I don't think you're going to get that out of just like mixing the sound a little differently. I think it needs an extra layer to give it a little more of a rounded whole sound. Maybe layering a guitar under that melody could help. Trying not to plug your Patreon challenge, impossible. Hell yeah, it's impossible. Because my Patreon is goated. Ellis, is that you? It might be. Honkai Star Rail Ellis. I think, yeah, definitely for the mix, like reference Ellis stuff, because I think it's going to be super good. Overall, I like this, you know, this is like a super cool track. I would say finish, definitely if you're going for like the contest, finish the arrangement first and make sure that you have like everything done. Because if you have like, I mean, you have 20 days to finish this, right? So like get the arrangement completed so that you have everywhere that you want and need vocals. And you can focus on sweetening up all the transitions. Because if the mix is kind of, you know, a little unpolished, nobody's going to care. As long as you have, like, the contents of, like, the stuff. And, like, really making sure that all of your movements from section to section hit. Which they kind of already do. Like, more of his stuff is good. Like, that's great. Okay, next up. I think this is Mr. Martin's. Don't want demo. I don't want a demo, actually. Finishing a track in 20 days? Yeah, bro, it takes me like 6 months to finish a track. I cannot finish anything for shit.
You stay in your lonesome way. Don't like who you in the way. Feel like you're wasting someone's way. You stay in your lonesome.
Ooh, da 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 dum bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum.
You don't love me anyway. You don't want me anyway. You just need me as a getaway. You just need me as your getaway. Want me anyway. I need you, you're my getaway. Want you, you're my everything. You need me just to get away from the day-to-day of your lonesome days. Do you feel okay? Slowly fade away. Write a song about a bleak cliche. All the things you wish you'd never say, but the memories stuck on replay. All the feelings that you can't convey. You don't want me, babe, you wanna get away. You don't want me, babe, you wanna take vacation from your mind. From your
I can't keep reading chat, guys. This is too distracting. Oh, man. This is super cool. I love this. I love this whole vibe. Meantime, over here we got Discontent trying to release 2 albums. If I release 2 albums in my life, like, I've succeeded. At a certain point this summer, I want to go back and flesh out a bunch of ideas and try to release a track every week. That does sound cool. See, I'd be honestly down to, like, do that with you. If you decide you're going to do a challenge, we should do that. And, like, every week we'll just, like, post social media stuff for it. I'm actually down. And then it'll just be, like... like, the thing is, we have to have the rule that we don't have to, like, official release it. I can just release it on my SoundCloud into, like, the ether where no one's going to listen to it. Adding a lead to this end bit, just haven't worked out melody or sound. Okay. I mean, yeah, something soft here is super cool. It's too late to change the stuff in the Friday night remix because it's already past deadline. Ah, fair enough. Gonna be a nightmare for promotion, but I'll figure it out. Bro, just, like, send it. Promotion is kind of fake anyway. I mean, it's not, but, like, at the level of, like, nobody knows you, posting things is better than not posting things. You can worry about, like, optimizing stuff later. I think this is, like, the biggest lie that, like, I'm still trying to stop telling myself, which is, like, you have to do things in a certain way because that's what the people who are winning are already doing. In the beginning, if you go back and look at what most people were doing, they just posted a bunch of things, and then later on, they're like, okay, yeah, let me, like, regularly post things at the same time every day and whatever, like until you actually have a real following, like a real being, like a real audience of people who are like waiting for your next thing all the time. Trying to do everything like super consistent and like, you know, algorithmically perfect doesn't help you. It just, for me, it just stresses me out. But then again, I also don't post shit, so, you know, don't listen to me. I don't know anything. Okay, now actually back to the feedback, because I am still technically in a rush. Actually, yeah. I would say, for me, the biggest things is like the arrangement is like a little too much the same. Like you have this nice thing, and then we stay in this. It's like, to me, I have a rule where like if I can click between two things that are like 30 to 45 seconds apart and the sonic balance of everything is too much the same, it probably means something is not working with the arrangement, or I have a unique arrangement, right? That's fine. Sometimes you just say, hey, this is supposed to go for a minute, but you do kind of want there to be some distinguishable change. But you kind of have like more vocals, which is good, but it'd be nice if there was like really a very soft section where we have like just one or two instruments and then like vocals. And then also you could do like more whispery or like softer tone for that, because the tone also feels very similar the whole time. So I feel like that would be nice, because it will then break up the song and make all of the sections more memorable. Like you will actually make the previous sections more like valuable or more exciting, because you have a deeper and more varying arrangement. This sort of goes to the thing I was talking about earlier, where you're trying to get more out of less, and that in this case means doing a different section so you have less of one particular type of sound, but you get more out of it, if that makes sense. Expansion. Vocal is one take, so that's why I lol. Damn, okay. The fact that you can do one take and it all sounds as good as it does. Good job. Good job. Yeah, definitely like do more vocal stuff. I like the balance of everything. There's something else that I want to talk about and I can't find it. Oh, the kick. Kick maybe could be a little more. I don't know. It's fine. It feels like here it's maybe a little soft, but also it's good. Like, I don't know. I kind of like your style of like everything is sort of like a little bit loose and organic, and kind of you just go with it, and it still sounds really good. And like I'm thinking too much about like optimizations and like, oh, but this could be 0.2 dB louder and whatever, when it's like, if I was just listening to this on my likes, I wouldn't stop listening to something unless it was like there's something particular here that's bothering me and it's distracting me, and nothing in here is distracting. It's just kind of good vibes. Definitely like more deeper arrangement, more vocal takes, and like some changing of the tone, and you'll be golden. All right, take a try with Jupiter. Let's go. I think, yeah, these are the last two. What? Yeah. Yippee. I just chuck in Ableton and hope. What is that sound, bro? Do na 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 na. na na na. No way. How does he know? He knows the secrets. Man, this is just a banger. Like, what am I even supposed to feedback on this? It's just goated. Maybe the tail end of it. Yeah, really the only two things I'm thinking of here is like builds. Because they just are copy and pasted. So I'd say once you fill out the builds, everything else is goated. Like the whole is just so clean. You really have like nailed down your productions to be like really tight and like really commercial in a great way. Like I admire how like clean and consistent your tracks are. It's expectation, like a bar you've set for how like tight everything is, and you deliver on it with every single demo that you send. It just sounds like you can immediately tell, one, this is your track, and two, it just the quality is like mint. So keep going, man. And yeah, I would say really here just like fill out the builds a bit, because the builds sound noticeably two-dimensional compared to everything else. And yeah, by the way, the whole Danny Lunt thing, funnily enough, it's something Atlas and I literally discovered on call, where we were going through a Future Bounce playlist that I had made. And I was like, yo, what is this? And then we started looking around for the Danny Lunt thing. Then we discovered the lore that Danny Lunt is the person who wrote the original melody and like whole like Dirty Palm Flowers tune. Leaked, it's leaked. But yeah, if you look around hard enough on YouTube, you will find the actual original like demo of Dirty Palm and Connor Ross's Flowers, because turns out it was probably originally a collab between Danny Lunt and Connor Ross. Yeah, shit is crazy. But Danny Lunt has like some really cool IDs, that's just like in the ether somewhere that we don't know where this man went. Rip made great contributions. But first we gotta listen to some Poison Lemonade. Dude, your cover arts are so cool, man. I love the style that you've developed. Like, bro, I can't wait for you to just like, for people to find out that you exist and for you to just pop off. Because I think you will be able to curate such a awesome community. Like I don't know, like I just see you make so much stuff that I think people will just be able to get behind something that you make, and two, you've like got this like nice visual style that works super well with all your music. So really, I'm rooting for you, man. It's gonna happen. Just keep going. I swear. It has to. The noise as well is so good. Super cool. I'd say for me, 2 main points of feedback. One, I love this. I can hear your vocals are improving, which is awesome. Like the tone is like rounding out, and like you can just tell that you're going for it, and it's working more and more and more. I think for me, really, it's the hats, which sound a bit too like noisy and digital, compared to the kick and the snare, which are kind of like really dirty and nice. The hats sound like just high end. I'm kind of missing those more high mid frequencies that kind of give hats more of that like tone. Like, I think it's there, it's just not popping out as much as like the very top end. And I think you have the space for it, so I would say just like maybe reshape the hats a bit, or layer some more like Foley-ish type of hats under there that have like a little more of that mid tone stuff. And I think it would really be good to go. Tsubi Club on crack, literally. Tsubi Club if it was like really just organic and not hyperpop. Super cool. I love this, man. That's really it. Because, like, yeah, everything else is good. Everything else is just good. I like it. Maybe the mix is, like, a little compressed or whatever, but I know you'll get to it, so I'm not even going to rant on about it. Yeah, hats are, like, the hardest part of the style. I'm not going to lie. I can't figure them out. What type of hats are you using? Because it may just be that you need to source your hats from a different genre than you're thinking of. Like, my immediate thought is, like, try 90s lo-fi hip-hop hats and see if that gives you the tone that you want. Because they also have this like kind of round thing, and it may not be like the main hat, but it might be a nice layer. I'll be using random acoustic hat samples from wherever I can find them. Yeah, fair enough. I get that. It can be hard. But I would say, yeah, try looking for like Nujabes or J Dilla style hats and see if that does the trick. Because that's my first thought when I think of your style, that like I feel like it could work. But I'm not sure. Alright. Last one, because then I really do gotta like quickly eat and get the fuck out of here. So I'm so excited for this. I haven't heard a Doxery thing in so long.
All that I wanted was to spend my time.
Ooh, the stretch, nice.
Me too. They're beautiful.
I like doobie style of thing. I like the way it slowly falls into the drop. I would say the biggest thing of feedback I could say is like, if you're gonna focus on like this really organic style, the way I think makes most sense for you to make Atmos is like one of like 3 sources. One is the guitar, so take stuff that's like, you know, guitar plucks or whatever, and like really don't use the transient or whatever, And like you could do granular. You could even just take like a piece of like the tone, the main like body tone of the guitar that you like, and just like slap a huge reverb on it. You could take a snippet of a vocal and do the same thing. You could try like a granular vocal style of thing. Although personally, I find that just like if you're gonna do the singing and stuff as well, you're so much better off just like singing in and taking snippets of your own takes and just slapping giant amounts of reverb and distortion on that and EQing it until you kind of like it, because it just sounds so much better. I don't know, I struggle really hard with getting nice granular vocal atmos. They sound always worse. Whereas when you take sources that aren't vocals, it just sounds cool. But with vocals, it always just sounds like, oh, I'd rather just have an actual vocal sample with reverb on it. There was a third thing I was going to say, and now I forgot. This is beautiful. It really is. Doctor, what I like about your style is like, you can tell that it takes you a while to make these because it feels like you pick the perfect sound for every one of your elements. Every single one of your elements feels super, super thought out and like carefully selected, like carefully sculpted. And so I can imagine it really does take you a while to like figure out the exact right thing that you want, because it's like this minimal style that puts so much focus on like the elements that are there. And like every note feels super satisfying and super awesome. So I encourage you, continue forth on your style. I will continue to try making Foley samples that you can use in your productions, maybe, if you like. Yeah, man, that's why I can't upload. Fair enough, dude. No pressure, man. I think it's worth it, personally. This is my personal opinion, is that it's worth it to try and go for like a perfect style if that's what's going to make you happy. If you're going to be satisfied with that, then go for it. But it's worth trying to do stuff that isn't perfected to see, do you like this? And personally, I've tried it. I've tried doing stuff that I've just shit out. And funnily enough, I've enjoyed it. I've been like, oh, it still sounds good. But not most of the things. It's always like the things that I finished kind of and posted, like remixes and stuff. It's just like, yeah, but this was done. Like I was already like, you know, I made this for a deadline or I made this for a thing, and then it was done and it was out of my hands. When I have nobody telling me, hey, there's a deadline or there's no real reason to finish something, I like to sit on it for 2 years and then not do anything with it anyway, you know, because, yeah, there's a song I really got to upload, but it's taking a while to do all the cover art and stuff. But it will have a really cool cover art, so it's worth it. But I'm happy. I'm excited for the day that track gets released, because it's literally been sitting on my SoundCloud for like 2 years unnecessarily. Alrighty, with that being said, I must flee. I need to go reheat some food and then disappear into the night. It was fantastic. Loads of bangers today. I'm so proud of you guys and all the progress you're making. And I hope to... I'm going to share a snippet today of something I'm working on. I'll try and do it before I leave. The problem is screen recording doesn't work on my phone, so it's kind of hard to share snippets of stuff. But you will hear something that I don't think I've actually shared before at all. So, with that being said, goodbye, everyone. And I will see you again